Okay, I'm gonna make this real short because uh okay, when I was younger, I saw a trailer for a movie about a psychic with psychic powers. Ooh, and that was it. A lot of the good handful of movies I didn't see, but saw the trailers of reasonably on occasion. So I thought, well, maybe I'll see it eventually at some point. So I finally got on DVD, yeah, DVD for like $5, whatever. And last night I watched it. It was obnoxious, horrifically obnoxious. Now it has an interesting premise. I mean, anything on paper sounds like an interesting premise, but once you actually apply it and watch it, it's just like, God, no wonder this was never really spoken of because it's just boring. Because what it is everyone is so single note. The premise is you have a detective and his sidekick, the psychic, who actually has psychic powers. Ooh. And his handler. And his handler's wife. And that's it. That's their that's their characters, and they just play that through and through. Nothing else. They don't really learn to do anything. They're just there. Um, so the lead detective guy, who is a detective, doesn't really do any real detecting. The wacky sidekick guy is supposed to be eccentric and wacky. He comes off as more annoyance than anything else because there really isn't any. You can't. The reason the Doctor works is because he's a special kind of wacky. He's interesting. He's funny. He's energetic. This guy is just like if you got say, oh, and he has, and we have the character, we have the mentally handicapped character right over here. It's like that. It doesn't add anything. It, it's not as interesting as they thought it was going to be. And they do this interesting animation for the psychic abilities, but everything he does doesn't really matter anything because then you can kind of just do what you needed to do in the first place, and you didn't really need to have the psychic there. So basically, like 90% of the time, you didn't really need him to do anything. To use his psychic powers. At one point, he hijacks a plane to go down the interstate to get somewhere. It's like you could have just taken a car to get there faster. You know, drives it through a tunnel. It's like, why? Just for the special effects itself to look more interesting? Why? It doesn't make any sense. They don't really grow as a character arc, really. It just comes off as very standard one note. And everyone's pretty much, well, the lead detective is selfish as all hell, and everyone else is kind of more in it for themselves, but kind of just stick to their character type, and they just stick with it for the whole course of the movie. So by the end, the two guys do get girls, but it's kind of more handed to them by the plot, really, and that's really all about it. It kind of can be interesting at moments, but it's just not that compelling. I mean, the guy being the psychic is interesting, and he kind of is the only thing that's really, pulling the whole thing through the story through this, pulling your attention along through this whole story. But honestly, it is just a bore to see, everyone just play their one note throughout each scene. Wacky guy does this, detective guy does this, handler does this, and then wash, rinse, and repeat for each scene. So each scene has the wacky guy being wacky, the detective being a selfish prick, and the handler there trying to be the middle straight man. It's like uh, there's no real sense of range here with them, Like they're supposed to be some sort of comedic trio, but honestly, you don't really get that. It just it's just not a good film. It's just be glad you didn't see it back in the '90s. Um. Oh, good. The movie I'm converting is now over finally. It's that one. Oh, here I'll play the trailer for you. It's really it's like the worst scene ever in uh in Hollywood. It's called Tough Guys Don't Cry, and this is in there. I swear to God.
My husband, he's having an affair with your wife. I don't think we should talk about it. Has your pet killed him? Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God.
I know, right? This is the worst scene in cinema, and I am currently just got done converting it onto DVD-R. Anyway, I'll probably have better fun converting Blind Fury. Anyway, so that's about it for Second Sight. So it's a stinker. It sucks balls. It's not very well acted. It looks like they gave it a decent amount of money, a couple million to make this thing, and I'm guessing it really bombed at the box office. So yeah, if you want a real good psychic movie, from the early '90s, good psychic film. Well, not Zapped. Zapped is stupid. Uh, Tell you what, I'll get back to you on that. So, take care. And our new president will be elected tomorrow. So, yeah, there's that. And apparently, a lot of the stuff from back in the '90s is now being, you know, kind of like relevant now, like the Thing or the Visitor. You know, He Who Walks Behind the Rose. Anyway, I want to live off with MON. That spells the drive-in will never die. Take care. Bye.